Thank you for being here. I mean what I say because some people whom I saw last year, they are not here today. They stopped coming to church. And you and I know the reason why. First of all, the macro problem that is happening in the church, a scandal by the clergy. So as a priest, I have mixed feelings about it. First of all, I'm grateful for my priesthood on the one side. But on the other side, we priests are going through a mortification because of the sins of some of our brothers. When we became priests, we gave a commitment to God and the church. And one of them is keeping celibacy. And some of us broke that commitment to God and to the church. And we are going through that mortification. And because of this, we see in our church this year, not only here but in general, less people coming to Mass. Some people stopped for this reason. The people, those who never came, now they have a reason. But this problem it has been going on for some time. It is beyond my control and your control. And the other problem is what is happening in the diocese. The yokings, mergings, and closings. Unfortunately, I came to this parish with the message of yoking 6 years ago, and now merging. Many of us don't like it. Do I like it? I'm not sure. But this is not the time to analyze and question things. One of the teachings of Buddha is this: a bird is wounded by an arrow and it falls before you, and that is not the time you question who shot the arrow, where it came from, and with what purpose. No. That is not the time to question. That is the time to save the bird. So we are in the same situation. There are too many questions, but the biggest question which I have been reflecting over and praying for weeks and months, I am sharing with you today. The biggest question is, what are we going to do now? I'm not preaching to the people those who are not here. I'm speaking to you who are here. What are we supposed to do now? Probably this persecution is going to go on. When I speak about persecution, I'm reminded of the church, the olden church, the early church. There was persecution. So what did people do? They went underground into the catacombs and they lived together. But that persecution was for faith. But this persecution is because of sins. That is the difference. So like those people, those who went underground to become as one, now it is time for us to be one. Those who come here, those who are still coming, in spite of these problems, the church is hated, and you know what I mean. But in spite of all these things, you are here. And I am sent here, and we are here. What is to be done? Through the 3rd century and the beginning of the 4th, the persecution was in its height. But that was the time when monasticism blossomed. That was the time, beginning in Egypt, many men and women, they went to the desert, went to the caves, and they began to introspect. They began to see, they went into the cave and they were trying to find their faith. They were trying to find that solid thing on which they could anchor, A-N-C-H-O-R, anchor their faith. I think it is time for us to find within and here that solid thing in which we can anchor our faith. Otherwise, there is a lot of possibilities for us to be easily disbanded and distracted. What I mean is this. Let me go here. Our faith. I ask you today, in every Mass you participate, at the time of consecration, concentrate here and bring to your mind the Last Supper. Because the priest or the bishop or the pope, we use the same words of Jesus. Take the bread and say, this is my body, and the bread becomes the body. Taking the chalice, this is my blood, and the wine becomes the blood. There is where we anchor our faith. Because without that, there is no church. There is no Christianity. There is no faith. And only that solid foundation can hold us together. That is the only fountain that can bring us together and glue us as one. And today we need that because of this peculiar situation. We do not know how long more it's going to go. But until then, we need to be anchored. So today I ask you to pray for the people, those who are offended, the people, those who are victimized. We pray for them. We also pray for our parishes. And at this time, I thank all the volunteers here, those who are going through the safe environment to make sure that our young people are safe. Every volunteer is doing this for this purpose. And we pray for them. We continue to pray that God may hold us together, that God may bless the church, that God may bless all the people, those who are suffering, including us, that we may pass through this. This is a hard time, and we should be together and move on. Let us renew the trust between us, the priest and people, the bishop and the priest and people, with God and people. May God bless us today and keep us all in His providence.